Alright guys, so I partnered up with North American Flash Tournaments where I'm actually going to cast, and I believe also me and Indy. You're kidding me, right? Oh, hi. My cat just wants to be petted. It doesn't want to go out of my room right now. So I'm partnered up with North American Flash Tournament and Indy Pride. Well, Indy Pride is also with them, casting some of their games, where I'm casting the semifinals and the finals, and basically what the North American Flash Tournaments are. If you guys didn't know, it's basically just a Steam group page, which I will leave in the description, where basically normally like most of the times on weekends, about every 2 weeks, they just do a tournament, people who show up, sign up, quick make brackets, all the matches real quick in one day. So yeah, that seems pretty fun, and also we have the new Celtic pack for Attila coming out, and also, let me do the guys here. So Poccocapacs is playing as the Jutes, and BxBaracas is playing as the Eastern Roman Empire. So we have the new Celtic pack, and I'm going to do a full review of that, and then an awesome patch looks like it's coming. I highly suggest you go look at the patch. You can find it on the Total War Attila Wiki, which you can find. Great, I got the hiccups. Find it through going on the forum. Now I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to do a full review of that. And I'm really excited to take my Irish ancestors and conquer the whole world. So let's look at the game. Poccocapacs actually brought a build extremely similar to my Jutes build, where he has 4 Herdmen, 3 Nordic Bows, 4 Huskarls, and 2 Warhounds. However, he, instead of bringing a Nordic Spearman, brought 2 more Horse Lords. And I think it could definitely work. Well, actually, since I've watched the games, I know it worked pretty well. And the Eastern Roman Empire player has brought some Tagmatas and Scolae Palatinae. Very unsurprising. Those Sagittaria really are probably not going to want to engage them. And one thing I've noticed is that loose formation in an archer-on-archer fight, you actually do worse. Because if you notice, a lot of them shoot over, so they end up hitting more of your men. He does not want them firing on those Warhounds, because that's a lot of damage that he's going to lose. Oh, and he has 4 Herdmen also. In his army, so the East Roman Empire player has 2 Sagittarii. He has 4 Heteria Guard. And I believe it's 3 Protectores Domestici. A Magister Militum as his general. I believe he has 2 Tagmata Cav and 3 Scolae Palatinae. Yes, he does. Now, most likely, he's just going to go with a straight out, just kill you build. Most evident by the Heteria Guard. Now, the Heteria Guard, I think they need better melee attack, because I think they do, to really be useful. They do have very good melee damage, but they really need better melee attack. So the bows are mostly just firing back and forth. He does look like he's starting to lose the bow fight, and it looks like he sent his war dogs up against those Sagittarii. Or as they say in the game, Sagittarii. What is it? Sagittarii. Oh my god, I was saying it. Sagittarii. They say Sagittarii, it's Sagittarii. God. Gods of the afterlife, spare my arse. They've even messed me up with it. Yeah, they just like saying the double I's as E instead of I. Those here we can see the Nordic Horse Lords and Scolae Palatine engaging. Nordic Horse Lords probably wouldn't win on their own. With those Huskarls in there, we're definitely going to rip those Scolae Palatinae apart. Going into shield wall there with those Herdmen, I would say a very good decision on the Jutes part. As he's really been able to make them hold out a lot longer than they probably would before. Or here you can see he's mostly just making it so he can make as much distance between those Heteria Guard and those Protectores Domestici from engaging in this cav fight. Some war dogs do get in, they attack the Magister Militum General, do stop its charge. He probably could have sent actual handlers in the fight too, because he always wanted that extra DPS. He's sending in his Huskarls to fight over here. And as you can see, the Nordic Horse Lords are routing right here, and actually he must have pulled one out. However, the Huskarls are just going to cause so much damage that the Scole Palatine are going to do nothing. And same over here, these Huskarls, man, they're just going to rip them apart. Nordic Warlord General, not... Oh, I heard one of my other cats scratching my door. Let's see, this herdman right here is actually starting to win this fight against this Protectores Domestici. And now they're surrounding the Heteria Guard. Who the Heteria Guard might actually be able to fight both of them, I'm not sure. As you can see, the cat fight is not going in the favor over here. That Magister Militum, however, is starting to get a good amount of them hurt. Those Heteria Guards are pulling through and attacking those Nordic bows. Nordic Horse Lords over here are starting the rout, and the Huskarls, my favorite units. However, they're still not as good if they're outnumbered that much. They're not going to go down definitely go down without a fight. Over here, it looks like he's mostly wrapping up. And those Huskarls actually lost to the Heteria Guard. Like it was the Heteria Guard, I believe, joining the battle later. However, the Heteria Guard is really going to feel that cavalry charge. Yeah, we're going to a lot of them are just going to drop. Because while they're going to be very good if they engage during a cav fight, you do not want them to get charged and then fight cavalry. See here, small little skirmish going over here. Those Protectores Domestici are pretty good units, however, they're just not going to be able to hold up against these herdmen. You see, the herdmen have slightly better offensive stats. However, they have much better melee defense than the Protectores Domestici. And the Magister Militum is still going pretty good. However, many of those other units are starting to rout. And it looks like he's going to get a charge in those Nordic Horse Lords on this Magister Militum. And that may end up killing the general. Nope, Magister Militum is winning decisively. So the Heteria Guard over here is doing pretty well. And it looks like the Jutes might not be able to pull this out. Unless these herdmen can work some magic, which I don't think they're going to be able to. I think that's more or less GG. Pretty good performance from these Heteria Guards, I gotta say. Yeah, I think the Jutes aren't going to be able to recover from this. Although, it's still pretty tight. And the Jutes player does have more men, however a good amount of it is also in archers. He is not sending in his Nordic Warlord, which I'm not sure if I agree with, which I think knowing how the general alive is going to be very important. If he could get this Magister Militum, I think he's almost guaranteed to win. If he can kill the general, he's basically going to win this. Let me see. Yeah, that Magister Militum. Yeah, that Nordic Warlord is going to get ripped apart. He's getting surrounded with that herdman. Protectores Domestici are running away. The Heteria Guard is starting to get outnumbered here. I would still probably going to get a good amount of kills, and that at some point that Nordic Warlord himself is going to die. What the? Hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe. Something popped up on my screen from my computer. So guys, the way I'm going to do all these is, so that's game 1 for BxBaracas. So guys, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do all of the games in the series all in one video. So I'll see you guys in a second as soon as I fix this problem. Alright guys, this is game 2 between BxBaracas and Poccocapacs. And you guys did actually get to see the end of that game footage, which is good. Now, Poccocapacs, I believe, he is playing as the Eastern Roman Empire, and BxBaracas is playing as the Visigoths. So let's look at their builds. So it looks like we got two Scole Palatine, and he's taking out on that flank. Same thing mirrored on the other flank. So we got some Protectores Domestici, very similar builds. 3 Heteria Guards, 2 Ballistariae, and 2 Sagittariae. I'm just so used to hearing the actual voice actors say it. Ballistariae, Sagittariae, Cataphractii, Scolae Palatinae. Let's look at the Visigoths. Looks like they got 3. You know, the way it's crossing. Looks like there's 2 of them right there. Oh no, it's just the same one that's walking weird. 2 Gothic pikemen. See 5 Germanic horsemen, all 5 of them with 3 gold chevrons. A Gothic general, 4 Germanic archers, 5 actually, and looks like 4 Thracian warriors. I gotta say, I like both these players' builds a lot. They're both very balanced, and because why not 1 Gothic warband? So both of them are bringing pretty standard builds for each of their factions. I'm going to give the Visigoth player the... I'm going to give the Eastern Roman Empire player the advantage right at the start. Because he doesn't necessarily have the ranged advantage. I think I'll definitely give the... Well, actually, no. His Tagmatas do have 3 bronze chevrons, however, and only one of them is 2. The Scolae Palatinae have nothing. So unless these Ballistariae can get a good amount of cavalry kills, or the Heteria Guards can get a good amount of kills, he's going to have a bit of a problem. He's bringing a Palatina Guard as his general. Now, if you can protect your general, it's definitely worth it to bring a lower price general. However, if you do that, you do sacrifice his, most of the time, protection. Because Palatina Guards are not the strongest units. And they can get hurt by chargers pretty easily. Now we see you have these Scolae Palatines look like he's lining them up. If you want to do something which I do a lot, where I'll just slowly creep up each of my cavalry lines. And basically what I try to do is I try to make him move out. To make him move out of where he wants to be. And generally bringing a ranger is going to be good. Or that those Germanic archers are going to have a longer range than was Ballistari, and these are on flaming shot, which are more effective against cavalry. And really, there's almost no reason why you should use standard shot over flaming shot, unless you're worried about scaring your own units if they're very low on morale. Which, I'll be honest, I think I've done that myself. Go pulling those Germanic archers back. Looks like one of them is going to get caught. And that is actually going to be able to pull out the Gothic general. And I would watch out right there if I was a Visigothic player, because a lot of times that can be all it takes to get a good amount of damage done on there. Some back damage done, none of them killed. However, that's damage that could apply later. Here we have the cavalry engagement going. This is definitely on the Visigothic player's terms, as he's going to get his Thracian warriors in there. And those Thracian warriors are going to... Warriors are going to rip apart those cavalry. However, if he can get a charge, a good amount of ranged fire on those Thracian warriors, he's going to be able to... The Eastern Roman Empire players are going to be able to rip them apart. However, the Thracian warriors are going to town. Those Heteria Guard might be able to change that tide of battle right there using the throwing axes. And over here, the cavalry engagement has begun. The Gothic general has taken out that Ballistariae. However, they are fighting a Heteria Guard and maybe eventually a Protectorius Domestici. That Heteria Guard kill a good amount of those Gothic generals. However, the regular general, is still alive. And as always, I'm good at repeating words like 3 times in a row. Those Protectorius Domestici are starting to charge in. Those are going to be very important to fighting the enemy. The enemy general is dead, and I think that'll mostly just be a wrap. Because none of these other units are really that high morale. Yep. Thracian warriors are starting to lose. And GG. I think that's it. So you guys really need to keep... The biggest tip I can give you in multiplayer. Bar builds, bar doing any strategies, keep your general alive. Because if you don't, I will guarantee you will almost always lose if your general is dead. There will be exceptions. Obviously, if you have a much better army and you have, or your situation is just better, you have much better control. But the disadvantage of just playing with a dead general is just far too much. And that's not something you want to risk. Like I say, good general snipe there. You really need to keep that general and not even give him your back, just if you have him go fight, it either needs to be out of desperation or you know he's basically going to be safe. Alright, so this is going to be game 3. And this is going to be the final one to decide who goes on to the finals. So you see we have the Ostrogoths versus the Huns. The Ostrogoths have bought 5 Thracian warriors. Looks like 6 Germanic horsemen. 4 Germanic archers and a Royal Siones. In the Huns, which BxBaracas is the Huns, Poccocapacs is the, I believe I've said that differently each time, can never read his name right, is playing as the Ostrogoths. The Huns have brought, look like, 2 elite Hunnic Lancers on that flank, 2 elite Hunnic Lancers on that flank, a Steppe Cataphract, looks like 6 Steppe Bows, and 6 Uar Warriors with a Steppe Warlord as his general. Now, both of them have brought pretty basic compositions, and if I have to give anyone the advantage, I'm going to give it to the Ostrogoths. Mainly because Hunnic cavalry, ironically, is pretty easy to take out. The elite Hunnic Lancers might be a bit harder to take out, and they're going to do a fair bit more damage, which, well, that was interesting, this disappearing lance. Those Uar warriors are definitely enough to put in some work, and so are those Steppe bows. And I'm actually going to give the straight up cav advantage to the Ostrogoths, because they by far have it. They outnumber the Huns in cavalry. And obviously the Ostrogoths player knows exactly what he's fighting and is most likely going to use his cavalry to block the Hunnic cavalry and just murder him with Thracian warriors. I think I would like to see maybe the thing is with those Steppe bows could really put a damper in his plans. So I think maybe 3 or 4 Thracian warriors and just some cheap infantry like maybe spears. Just enough because they'll take less damage from the ranged fire. And send them in first because those Thracian warriors obviously have no shield and only have 10 armor. Which I believe they have either in the game files they have like cloth. Might be leather or something like that. It's not good. So you can see we can just have some beginning archer fire, and because this happens a lot, I'm going to wait this out of it. It looks like we do have some cavalry movements moving up. One of those Steppe bows is about to rout, and it looks like we're about to have some cavalry charge going on right into those archers. However, those Germanic horsemen are going to get the counter charge, and although there's probably a good amount of initial damage, those Germanic horsemen in the end are probably going to win. And as those rest of the sword Thracian warriors join in, wow, a fair bit of them are dying. Probably, really? Why is that Thracian warrior dying so quickly? I may have charged a bit earlier. So yeah, those Steppe Cataphracts and it's not the Royal Siones. The Hunnic Lancers absolutely destroyed those Germanic horsemen. I'm not very surprised on that. Because as I said on the direct 1-on-1 charge, the shot cav is probably going to win. That Germanic horseman is taking unnecessary damage. However, luckily none of them died. Oh, he is charging in. However, that Steppe warlord is about to engage there too. See, he's pulling back a lot of his bows. Those Thracian warriors, he's probably not wanting to send them in immediately as the... Well, actually, I probably would have sent them in sooner than not risk them getting charged. However, a lot of archer fire coming in on those Steppe Lancers. On those elite Hunnic Lancers, my bad. Those Uar warriors are putting in a fair amount of damage also. This is not looking very good for the Ostrogoths. Unless they can kill the general again, I don't see how he can win this. Because there's still so many Uar warriors, he's just ripping them apart. or those station warriors are starting to take out that Uar warrior. There we go, more Thracian warriors going in, throwing their javelins. There, he's really trying to pull back there. I don't see how Poccocapacs can win. Poccocapacs, Pocahontas can win. Unless he can kill that general, he can't win. Look at, however, there's going to be a lot of archer fire going in on both sides, firing that Steppe Warlord. That Steppe Warlord may die. And if the Steppe Warlord dies, it's going to be tough. I still don't think he can win it. The enemy general is dead, so the Steppe Warlord did die. That is really going to drop a lot of those units' morale. A lot of those Uar warriors are just starting the rout. Probably tackle onto that with those flaming arrows. They're having a huge morale drop right now. And any shot cav, well, not just shot cav, just covering general charges. And wow, he pulled that from the grasp of defeat. So that's basically 2 games where I think he's been saved from the enemy general dying. Wow. And I think that just shows you overall how well killing your opponent's general is. I see, this cavalry didn't do many kills out of those station warriors did get quite a few, and those archers did a lot, and obviously it was part of killing that Steppe Warlord. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll have one of the other semifinals games, because I only got sent one for one of the matches. Very interesting. It wasn't even Martha's one, it was just that match, so I don't know what happened there. And I also have the finals for you guys. So I'll see you all later. Peace!